Hey, good afternoon, everybody. All right, today we have a class. It's a fun class. Excited. But it was something that was requested, and of course, if you ever suggest something that you want to know more about, well, I like to provide that information. Um, and this month, so it is National Volunteers Month, as we discussed. But another thing that April is also known for is it being Earth Day, or kind of Earth conscious, and making sure that we're appreciating where we live and how we're treating the environment so that this beautiful Earth that provides so much for us can provide for a lot longer. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship where we sustain off of it, and if we treat it correctly, then and happily and help things grow, plants and such, and don't push too hard, then we receive the fruits of sort of that labor. So somebody asked to do a class basically on what we could do to help kind of our neighborhoods and the earth itself, so that we can keep everything beautiful and keep things the way we want to see them. And I think that's a fantastic idea. So I looked up something on NOAA. It's the National Oceanic um, and Atmospheric Administration. I'm pretty sure that's what NOAA stands for. Okay, you got me. Hold on one second. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure I was right, but let me make sure. All right, I'm back. So I looked it up on my phone. Hey, technology. But it is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It says it right there. You can look it up. So I was right, but I don't know. It's such a long phrase. Sometimes it seems you might get things wrong. So we're gonna go over this. So the article that I found on their website is 8 ways to keep the Earth clean, and that's basically what was asked of me to figure out how to do this, and to see if maybe we're already doing it, and if not, maybe it's a good helpful hint, and if you are doing it, to continue to do it because you're helping the Earth quite a bit. So it says here at the NOAA Marine Debris Program, Earth Day is every day. And we are always encouraging others to get involved and support efforts working towards a clean environment and a healthy planet, because that's what we want. Okay, so our oceans are filled with items that don't belong there, and it's very true. So I hope you're cutting the plastic on your 6 packs of sodas, if that's something that you get, to make sure fish don't get caught in them. But it's filled with, items that don't belong there. Huge amounts of consumer plastics, metals, rubber, paper, textiles, derelict fishing gear, and derelict just means basically kind of a person that's doing something on purpose to make the world worse. Because there's a lot of fishing wire that people just throw right into the ocean and just don't care. Now, that destroys habitats. It's terrible. Those fishing wires will get caught around all sorts of aquatic life, and yeah, it's not safe. I mean, if just keep it in the boat and dispose of it properly. Vessels and other lost or discarded items enter the marine environment every day, making marine debris one of the most widespread pollution problems facing the world's ocean and waterways. So not just the ocean, rivers, lakes, ponds, such and such. Now, the ultimate solution to the problem lies with every single one of us. All of us. Preventing marine debris in the first place. So first, consider how you might personally contribute to marine debris and follow the 4 R's. 4 R's. Whenever possible. So, refuse unnecessary single-use items. So, basically, the difference is, like I don't say, I had a Coke bottle right here. Or a water bottle. That's a better example. I got a water bottle right here. Say, here's a water bottle I just bought at the store to keep myself hydrated. Well, do we need it? No. What do we have? This is not a single-use item. This is a multi-use item. So I can drink all the water in this. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I bought it once, and then I can go refill it right over there in the tap and drink. So that is, so you want to avoid just the one bottle that you think you need for everything, and actually get a water bottle. That way we're not just taking that in, because every time that you actually recycle something, even though we recycle, which is great, but the more you recycle, recycling plants actually put off a lot of pollution to recycle. I mean, it takes energy in order to recycle. So, you take these, if you have just one water bottle, that'll take you for, years, even the rest of your life. This is a really nice water bottle. So number one, reduce the amount of ways refuse unnecessary single-use items, so don't buy them. Like plastic straws or cutlery when possible. Right, so if you have a fork, things like that you can take to eat your lunch with instead of a plastic fork, goes a long way. So refuse. Number two, reduce the amount of waste you produce by choosing products with less packaging. That's a tough thing to do. One good example is if you look at, say, Halloween. Well, they'll give you a big plastic bag full of a bunch of other little plastic bags that hold candy in them. And I know you have to give out the little bags, but that's a huge waste, because that's like a giant bag with a bunch of other little bags that all become garbage. So if we had just one big bag with all the candy and you could pass that out, and everybody trusted each other, well, that would be much better. But I'm not saying don't get egged on Halloween. So reuse. So it's first refuse, reduce, and then reuse items you can, and choose reusable items over disposable ones, like the water bottle. And then lastly, and always last, reduce, reuse, recycle. The last one is always, it's refuse. I guess there's four now. Refuse, reduce, reuse, and the last one is recycle. So recycle as much as possible. Bottles, cell phones, ink cartridges, and many other items can be recycled and used again. And then next, spread the word to tell to others. Tell your family, friends, community more about this important issue, what they can do to help. And I know sometimes people balk at it and they're like, whatever, I'm going to do what I want. But it doesn't mean you might get through to one person. Get through to one person, that makes all the difference in the world. So here are a few easy and effective ways you can choose to reduce your daily impact and make a world of difference for the world. I think that's what they were trying to get at, but I'm just going to bring it right out. So there are 8 different things. Number 1, bring a bag. Remember to bring reusable bags to the grocery store or any other shopping activities to reduce consumption of disposable bags. That is a good thing. Bring a bag. Even an old plastic bag that you used last time you were at the grocery store, if it's still good, bring it back in there. I know during COVID it was a little tough because they didn't let you. But now I think a lot of stores are opening up to that. So invest in a reusable water bottle. Yes, we already did that. So acquiring a reusable water bottle would not only greatly reduce the amount of single-use plastic you use, but it would also save you money in the long run, which is very true. If you're concerned about the quality of your tap water, consider using a water filter. And there's also ones you can put in like the fridge, things like that, but typically our tap water is not that bad. I've been drinking tap water for a long time, and I haven't grown any extra limbs or anything like that, so I think I'm okay. But if you're really concerned, definitely, buy a filter. Bring your own reusable cup. Think about how many disposable cups are used every day in just your local coffee shop. It's true. Bringing a mug for your morning coffee can reduce the amount of waste you produce annually. Imagine how much waste we could reduce if we all made this daily change. Yeah. If you did bring your own cup to get coffee, I don't really drink coffee. The only thing I have is water. But then they could put coffee directly in your cup and be like, hey. But again, with COVID, everything's a little tougher. I do remember when I lived in Humboldt, they had a place called the Co-op, which they had great sandwiches. But they also, for once we found conditioner, they would have these big bottles to fill up your your smaller conditioner and shampoo bottles, and you just pump it in. Say I brought in this, they would take the weight, and then really you're reducing quite a bit and reusing these same bottles at the same time. So refuse next. Number 4, refuse single-use items. Take note on how often you rely on single-use items and choose to replace them with more sustainable versions. Refusing plastic straws and disposable cutlery. When you go out and bring your own containers for leftovers, a few ways you can start today. Right. So instead of eating out, bring your own food for lunch and things like that. And every small change we make is a huge one. It's not, you have to do all of it, which sometimes people feel like, well, that's just too much. No, just try one of them, one of these 8, and see if you can make that difference, and then maybe move on to another one. It's not like, hey, you're terrible because you're not doing this. Most people don't. But if we can make a few small changes, it makes a world of difference, as they say. Number 5, avoid products with microbeads. So facial scrubs and beauty products containing plastic microbeads were banned in the United States in 2015, but won't be fully phased out until 2019. So this is an old article. So they're phased out, so never mind. So we don't need to worry about it. They've been phased out. Yay! So shop in bulk is number 6. Consider the product to packaging ratio when purchasing items and choose larger containers instead of multiple smaller ones. When you have the option, also consider purchasing package-free foods and household goods. Right. So instead of buying a bunch of you could go to the store and buy, say, chicken in a package. Like, I just want one piece of chicken. But you can actually buy a whole chicken. And then cut up the chicken, freeze everything that you're not going to use for dinner one night, and then you'd have all that meat. And now you're not just buying a piecemeal with a bunch of different packaging, as an example. Number 7. So we've only got 2 more to go. So make sure your waste goes in the right place. Do your best to ensure that the waste you dispose of ends up where it should. Recycle the materials that are recyclable in your area, and make sure to reduce the likelihood of your garbage ending up in the environment by keeping a lid on your trash can when it's outside. Well, most of us have that, but also, I know some people in our group, you know who I'm talking about, are very good at separating out recycling. Oh, man, I'm going to sneeze. It went away, but it might come back. So, sorry about that. But make sure you're not putting things like shoes, or I've seen all sorts of things that go into recycling bins at different places I've lived. Look what's on there that can be recycled. Also look on the bottle or the container that you're going to recycle, and make sure that it's actually recyclable. If it's not, that's garbage. If it is, then make sure you're putting it in the right bin. Because if not, it ends up in the garbage anyway. It ends up in a landfill, and then you haven't really recycled it all. So, just let's work on that together. I need to work on it too sometimes, because there's plenty of things I think I put in the recycling bin. I'm like, not sure. May as well put it in there. But no, we shouldn't do that. And lastly, compost. I've tried this and I failed at it. I need to try it again. But composting at home reduces the volume of garbage sent to landfills and reduces the chance of some products becoming debris, or garbage, basically. So these are just a few ways that we can help incorporate taking care of our ocean and Great Lakes into our everyday lives. By doing our part to work towards a sustainable and debris-free planet, we'll also be providing others with inspiration and a good example to follow. As individuals, we have the potential to make a big difference, and together we can change the world. We can. So, one thing I do want to say to all of you is that when we were working at the parks, you all did an amazing job in this. Because what did we do when we were at the park? A lot of the times what we would do is actually go through and not just pick up trash, but we would separate out the trash that we found into recycling bags, so that not only to help our program, we'd go out and have those, put all that recycling in the back of the vans, take that recycling back to program, and on recycling day go and recycle it and make money from it. But we're reducing the amount of trash that goes out and increasing the amount of things that we can recycle and separating out that waste. That is huge. And if you think how often we did that every 5 days a week. Would have somebody go to the park, would have a group of people go to the park. And if you just think about that, so don't ever feel down about, oh, maybe I don't do that enough. Do realize how much what you do is good and continue to do that. So that's largely what this class is about as well, is that we've done a great job and we'll continue to do a great job to help the environment, to help all sorts of things. So thank you for everything that you do. Anyway, this has been the class for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, of course, feel free to ask. And if there's any classes you would like to know more about, anything, let me know and we'll go through that. All right. Bye, everybody.